We're going to call this meeting of the Lenoir County Board of Education to order. The first item is the invocation. Ms. Diane Lynch.
Let us pray. May the words spoken in this room tonight be beneficial to the students, parents, staff, and administrators in our school system. And may we be led by the guiding principle to always base our decisions on the best interest of our young people. Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next item is the approval of the agenda.
Move we approve the agenda.
Motion made by Mr. Filippelli. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Hill. All in favor of approval of the agenda, raise your right hand. All opposed, the agenda is approved. Next item is the approval of the minutes. In this case, we have minutes from March the 10th and March the 17th.
Move we approve the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes made by Mr. Nobles.
Second.
Second by Mr. Stroud. All in favor, raise your right hand. The minutes are approved. Next item is the board chair comments. I just wanted to recognize that Mr. Smith has contacted us and he's running a little bit late tonight. He will be coming in a few minutes. I think he had a family emergency he had to deal with, so we certainly understand about that. I wanted to also thank the members of Lenoir County Commissioners for attending our recent Education Summit, our joint meeting. Also want to thank our board members for all attending, as well as the Board of Trustees for Lenoir Community College. We hope by this process we're opening a new dialogue with our county commissioners and with our partners at Lenoir Community College, and we really hope that that was just a start to the things that we can do together in the future. I also want to remind our board members we do have a legislative dinner with our legislators that is scheduled for April the 29th at 6 p.m. at the Woodman Community Center. And I understand our entire legislative delegation from Lenoir County will be able to attend. So I hope all the board members will be able to attend. Next item is the superintendent's announcements.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. On Saturday, March 15th, 2014, the Kinston High School boys basketball team won the 2A state championship in Reynolds Coliseum. Now you realize I've been superintendent for about 3 years. I've announced this every year, so getting kind of used to this. The Vikings defeated North Rowan High School 67-57 in a hard-fought battle of two outstanding basketball teams. This was the third consecutive state championship in basketball for the Vikings. The victory also earned Kinston High School the distinction of being the only high school in North Carolina ever to earn 3 consecutive state titles in basketball 3 different times. This Kinston High School basketball team has received praise from the North Carolina High School Athletic Association, not only for winning games, but also for the strong positive level of character that they displayed and the exemplary manner in which they conducted themselves before, during, and after each game during the entire series of playoff games. These young men have represented Kinston High School and Lenoir County Public Schools very well. Thank you for both winning and for doing it the right way. We appreciate that more than I can tell you. And congratulations to our 2A boys basketball state champions, the Vikings. Coaching honors. Coaching honors. On Monday, March 10th, at the North Carolina High School Athletic Association State Championship Media Day event, Coach Perry Tyndall was praised highly by the members of the North Carolina High School Athletic Association leadership team for his outstanding leadership as a coach. The state level officials commented on how much Perry Tyndall had distinguished himself as a strong and very positive coach who displays an emphasis on teaching his student athletes character and, simply put, runs his team the right way. Players that received honors were Andrew Lopez for Most Outstanding Player, Eastern Team, 27 points in the championship game, and Brandon Ingram, Most Valuable Player, championship game, 28 points and 16 rebounds. Now, on the website, if you go out and look, we have a lot of other interesting historical facts about this team, and there certainly are many of those. But I will ask our board chairman to read out the names, and if you fellas and young lady will come up. I do have a little gift for you, and if you win many more times, I'm going to be out of things to give you. That's a small prop. Keep them coming. So if you'll come on up front here.
Let me just call them out one at a time.
Yep.
The first player is Taekwon Kennedy. Taekwon is here. Not here. The Trayvon Jones. There you go. Marcus Matthews. Andrew Lopez. Quarry Ham. No. Brandon Ingram. Darnell Dunn. Michael Hart. Anthony Berry. Darius Dunn. Can't see anymore, so. I'll stand up. That's all right. It might not help. Daquan Waters. Not here. Jeremiah Fields. No problem. Jamie Taylor. Michael Davis. There he is. And Vaj Stiles. Okay. We've also got the managers, Tayshawn Jenkins. He's here. Ebony Matthews. We've got our coaches, Perry Tyndall. Ryan Gieselman. Alden Parrish. Darnell Matthews. And Reggie Clark.
All right. Boys 2A state champions. Congratulations.
He'll never see us.
Wants to be the picture deep.
I know they want to see me.
Not be in this picture.
I might get, if you take the picture right now.
You can sell those pictures.
All right, good job.
Thank you so much.
Good job, Perry. Congratulations. Great job.
All right.
Great, great. It's good to see you.
They're a tall group.
Those are the tall boys. All right, Lenoir County held its 6th annual Spelling Bee on March 18th. The winner of the Spelling Bee is Samuel Lassiter, a 5th grader at Northwest Elementary School. The other participants, the other school winners, were Landry Smith from Banks, Will West from Contentia Savannah, Matthew Riddick from Frank, Elena Smith from LaGrange, Ashlyn Holloman from Moss Hill, Jamarius Hardy from Northeast, Titus Graham from Pink Hill, Eileen Nepomuceno, I think, Rochelle, Shanaria Hassel from Southeast, Jason Nyland from Southwood, and Deshanae Brown from Woodington. Congratulations to all of our spelling bee winners. Lenore County Schools held the 2014 Battle of the Books on March 27th. The student teams were from Contentia, Savannah, Frank, and Woodington. The winner was the Frank team, and they will go to the regional competition, which will be held April 11th at Northside High School in Jacksonville. We have some representatives tonight from the Tobacco Trust Foundation, and they have actually, I think, brought a little surprise for us. We have Jeff Jennings, who's a program officer, Johnny McLaughlin, a board member, and Gerald Barlow from the State Agricultural Education Leader from North Carolina. And he has a big check. So, and one of you is going to tell us what this is all about, right? Okay.
Good evening, members of the Board of Education. Yes, my name is Gerald Barlow, and I'm the State Agricultural Education Leader and State FFA Advisor in North Carolina. And I work in the Department of Agriculture and Extension Education at North Carolina State University. We're here today to give you some money. It's always a good thing when we can provide you some resources. In North Carolina, there's over 40,000 agricultural students in public high school and private high schools to take agricultural education. And these students are preparing for a career in the industry of agriculture, which is our state's largest industry. It's over a $70 billion industry. And the opportunities for these students when they leave high school are great. Also, as part of the agricultural education program, these students are also members of the North Carolina FFA Association. And these students are developing skills, leadership skills, and honing their skills that will make them make them great in whatever career they may choose. The purpose that we're here tonight for is to present a check on behalf of the Tobacco Trust Fund Commission through the North Carolina FFA Foundation through a grant that we received from the Tobacco Trust Fund Commission. And Mr. Jeff Jennings is going to tell you a little information about the Tobacco Trust Fund Commission.
Thanks, Chairman. First of all, when I was coming up Highway 70 and I saw the big top, I didn't know if that meant school board meetings here were on. We were just putting it all out for a $5,000 check. But,
There have been those times. So
but we appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight. The Tobacco Trust Fund Commission was formed back in 2000. And our goal was simply to try and get funds back into communities that have been affected by changes in the tobacco industry, help current and former tobacco farmers and all. I don't have to tell you the history that Lenore County has with tobacco, and I don't have to tell a lot of you about the changes that have occurred. So we're proud to be a partner with the school system here. We're proud to be a partner with the Kinston Farmers Market, Lenore Community College, with some job training programs that we have there. So I want you to know that for those of you who know about agriculture and whose families have been involved in it, I would bet a lot of you have. The Tobacco Trust Fund is making an investment in this area. We're proud to be here with you. Thank you for the opportunity to be here, and we'll turn it back to Gerald to award this check.
Thank you, Jeff. The North Carolina FFA Foundation received a grant for $180,000 from the Tobacco Trust Fund Commission. That grant has been given out to ag programs across the state and amounts up to $5,000. South Lenore High School is one of the schools to receive this grant for this year. And so tonight we have a check that we'd like to present to South Lenore Agricultural Education Department and the FFA chapter. And they're using the money for this grant to buy new welders to go in their shop, because their welders are old and out of date, and they're purchasing new welders that are modern, that can do multiple types of things that the old welders couldn't. So it's better preparing their students for careers in whatever field of agriculture they may go. And so it's my honor at this time to present this check for $5,000 to the South Lenore Agricultural Education Program and FFA chapter. We can get board members. You want to do it right here?
Sit here.
All right, y'all come up here too. Somebody come around here. I'll be by myself over this check. Might not be able to see you guys.
Yeah, we're a little bit short right here. That'll just.
Speaking of, they're still in front.
Well, we got them always in.
You see them all?
Oh my goodness.
The School System Improvement Task Force Committee has scheduled its next two meetings. They are Monday, April 28th, and Tuesday, May 27th. Both meetings will be at 5 p.m. here at the Central Office Boardroom. Reminder that Illinois County Public Schools will be closed for Easter spring break on Friday, April 18th through Friday, April 25th. Students and staff will return on Monday, April 28th. And last but certainly not least, I want to take this opportunity to thank Ms. Angela Bryant for her service at Kinston High School. She certainly has served this community well, and wish her the best as she moves on to a little different career. So, thank you, Angela. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The next item on the agenda is public comment, and I understand no one has signed up tonight. We'll move to the presentation information portion of the agenda. The first item is Ms. Diane Lynch, the Little by Little program.
In 2007, the Little by Little program was established with the help of private citizens and the Partnership for Children of Lenoir and Greene counties. Its purpose was to develop relationships with the students at Southeast Elementary and offer support academically, culturally, and monetarily, so that these students might have an opportunity to attend college in their future. Jimbo Perry is here tonight, and Mr. Perry, if you'll come forward. He is here to give you an update on the program and also to encourage continuous support for the program. Mr. Perry?
And before I start, I want to give everybody a flower.
Oh, thank you.
Anybody give me a flower today, Mr. Smith?
No, sir, I appreciate that too.
Nobody's getting Mr. Filippelli a flower.
Ever.
I'm sure this has never happened to me either.
Not at the board meeting.
Not at a board meeting. A lot of things are going on.
We asked Mr. Hill for something. Thank you.
Hey, Jimbo. Doing great. Thank you.
My flower right here.
Does it smell good?
As I'm giving you the flowers, I want you to pick them up, if you would, just for a second, and take a look at them. You know, each of them is just a little bit different, isn't it? And some of them even have some little bugs on the back. Mr. Stroud, I think I gave you some with some bugs on the back of the leaf. So I'm sorry about that. That's better than I did at the courthouse the other day. I accidentally put the bucket in some dog mess, and that was a big mess. But my flower is kind of turning brown a little bit in the middle. And the reason that it is because it got cold a couple nights ago. And when it got cold, it got a little bit of cold damage. It's still pretty and it's still unique, but it's got a little bit of a struggle going on. And I want to suggest to you that these flowers really, in some ways, kind of represent our children. Some years ago, about 25 years ago, I begun a fun time of being mentored by Miss Georgia Carnegie. And Miss Georgia mentored not only me, but a lot of other folks in the community. and she helped me kind of expand my territory a little bit in terms of understanding who my children are. I felt like I had a whole brood full, or at least a quiver full, at home. But as Miss Georgia used to say to me often, we've got to kind of get past this idea of my four and no more. Now, I have no doubt that if any of you ladies and gentlemen, one of your children was struggling with reading as they were getting up into second grade, I know exactly what you do. You'd be at the schoolhouse very regularly. You'd read with your child, and you would make sure that they got up to grade level. The reality is, I heard Dr. Mazingo say the other night, if our children aren't at grade level by the time they reach second grade, the odds are stacked against them that they will ever graduate from high school. And we know the results of that. Folks like Mr. Sargent, Mr. Filippelli, and I, unfortunately, will be just trying to do damage control. We're not going to be doing a lot to really making them more productive citizens. We're just going to be doing damage control. I've got a 25-page PowerPoint presentation that talks about the benefits of hanging out with kids, reading with them, and specifically what we did for a period of time at Southeast School, and how when we read on a regular basis and developed long-term relationship, that a very, very high percentage of those children were meeting their reading, comprehension, and behavior goals. Now, and as I speak to you, I'm speaking to myself, and I'm hopefully speaking to the citizens of this county. I'm here today to ask you, to ask us, to ask this community to consider that these children are our children. And the only way that we're going to, honest to goodness, be able to get them up to that, to the reading level they need to be at, is if we each take an individual stakeholder in this. Now, I can remember lots of meetings. I sat right where Mr. Stroud's sitting, and I remember exactly who was sitting beside me. And I remember the first night of being on the board. It was the first night I've ever been sworn in and sworn at the same meeting. And I can remember having to sneak in the back door here at the central office because the crowds didn't leave until it was over because they had a lot of fussing going on. And it probably reflected a little bit on our lack of ability to be unified the way in which you all have been much more successful than we were, I think, back some years ago. But I'm going to ask you today what I asked the last night that I had the privilege of sitting up as a board member during my last little presentation. I'm going to ask you to consider the same thing that I asked those board members to consider. I'm going to ask you to consider that each of those children are not only your children by way of the way in which you speak with your mouth, but in your actions. And if your child was struggling at school, not only would you be at the board meeting, not only would you be ensuring that there was good public policy, that there was good policy in place, and good debate about issues that need to be debated, but you'd be at the schoolhouse. And I'm going to ask you seriously to consider investing an hour a week. If it needs to be your lunchtime, let it be your lunchtime. You can tell by looking at me, I don't eat much lunch. But I'm going to ask you to seriously consider spending an hour a week at the schoolhouse. Now, our teachers, as you know, are underpaid and overworked, and they do a great job. And I think all of us need to go up to Raleigh, and we need to stand up on the table, and we need to holler, pay our teachers more. Because they're the most valuable citizens that we have. We heard about most valuable players. Well, they're our most valuable citizens. And we need to be supportive of them. But one of the ways that we can be supportive of them is by helping the children in a little bit different way than what we're accustomed to doing. With little by little, the way in which we believe was the most effective thing was to go to the teachers and to say, give us the children who you believe are least likely to pass their end of grade testing. And we started with those that the teachers and the administration thought were least likely to pass, and we worked with them. We raised some money. We've got $36,000 in the bank for college money for them. So far, we've awarded over $23,000 of that money. We started out with 40 children. We're up to about 70 now. Our children are now ninth graders. Now, when I give you the the state of little by little, I want to tell you that we were extraordinarily successful in grades 3 through 5. And I understand, just like in basketball, you have coaches down at the rec center, and they do a pretty good job. But when they get up to high school, they've got some of these folks that you saw earlier, Perry and a lot of his folks, and they know a lot more about it than us guys that hung out at the rec center. So I understand that things have got to change as you move through middle school and you move into high school, and with all the paperwork and all the requirements they've got a handful. So I'm not coming here and telling you the way that we did little by little and are trying to continue doing little by little in elementary school is the way that it needs to be done in middle school and high school. But what I do know is that long-term relationship is a key to these children being able to be successful. I want to ask you all to consider this year finding one of those. Go to the school that might be in your neighborhood. It might be one of the schools that you think is least served. I love hanging out at Southeast. I can tell you what, I'd much rather have a flat tire over at Southeast over in that neighborhood than in my own neighborhood, because I know that folks would come out, they'd help me get my tire changed over there. But find a school, and I would encourage you to go to a school that's maybe one of the schools that doesn't have much parental involvement. This year's the first year I've gotten to hang out at Moss Hill, and I'm having a great time out there at Moss Hill. What a great family it is out there. But find a school and then go into the school and ask them, who do you think is least likely to pass integrate testing? In about a month, we're going to take 28 young students, primarily second and third graders, out to the country club for a meal. And we're going to have their mentors with them. I overheard one person say the other day, when they kind of knew who was on the list to go out to eat, they said, oh my goodness, that's going to be a problem. Because the child doesn't behave in general in the classroom. But the mentor heard it, and the mentor said, we do just fine together. And that child will do just fine when he sits down and he's got a cloth napkin, he's got more forks and he knows what to do with, and he is not served something that he could get at the fast food place, but he served a nice baked meal and a medley of steamed vegetables. And we're going to talk about a lot of things about going to college and college scholarships. But those children were not at the top of the list. Miss Becky Darsh has spearheaded that effort over at Northwest School, and she's done an amazing job. And in each of the schools, we need that kind of situation. The money's okay. The possibility of college scholarship money is okay. And it's a good thing. But that's not what's key. The key is week after week after week after week showing up the same way you do with your own children. I've got my 25-page presentation here. I'll make it available to Ms. Lynch, and if any of y'all like to look at it, you can. But the thing that I want you to remember is, and I want you to seriously consider, I want to thank Ms. Filippelli, his daughter. He's gotten his daughter over there, and she's, I think, having a great time doing it, and is changing a life. But each of us individually can do it. When we started out the meeting tonight, there were about 50 folks. Imagine if 50 of us did it, and we did it at one of the schools. Well, and then if each of us just got a couple friends, we could change one entire school. I'm getting older. I don't know about you guys, you men and women, if y'all getting older, but I'm getting older. And I know at the end of it, I don't want to have any regrets. And I know when I read in the paper and I read some of these children's names that I remember when my kids were in school, I have some regrets. Because I know that if somebody had been matched up with those children, that they wouldn't be in the paper. And that they would be on the road to maybe having a productive life. I believe it's not us to kind of point in a direction to say, oh, they need to get their families together or whatever it is. I believe we need to point at ourselves and we need to say, what can I do about it? What can I do? And your leadership is so important. One of you shows up, you're going to change that school, I can just tell you. It's not the normal thing that a school board member hangs out at one school very long. You don't have to go and wear your school board hat over there, but just show up and folks are going to appreciate it and people will follow you. So, the state of little by little, well, it's really up to you. It's up to me. Are we going to take time to invest in one life during this next year and make a long-term relationship commitment? So, take the flower home. When it starts turning brown a little bit later, it's because it doesn't have enough water. It's been disconnected from its branch, And that's the only problem with these kids that are having struggles. They're not connected to a good branch. And we can be that branch. So join me in being a branch, a good branch for these children. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Perry. The next item is the financial report. Ms. Lisa Davis.
Good evening. The financial report reflects year-to-date activity by providing revenue and expenditure information as to all the sources of funds received and expended by fund and purpose as of March 31st, 2014. May I answer any questions?
Are there any questions for Ms. Davis on the financial report?
Do you see any potential problems coming to us?
Not at this time.
That's basically what I want to hear.
All right, thank you, Ms. Davis. Next item is the audit contract.
Okay, this contract will renew audit services with Bear Parish and Davenport Audit Firm for the 2013-14 school year. May I answer any questions?
How many years have they done this process?
This is the third year.
Third year?
Yeah, we originally kind of bid this contract for 3 years, and this is the last year. And we probably will be coming back to you soon with a recommendation to continue. We've been very, very happy with their services, and it's not, auditors' contracts are not something you want to change all the time. They have done a very thorough audit. They're not necessarily easy on us, but that's okay. We want a thorough audit. So we've been pleased, and more than likely we will get with them and look at another 3-year contract that the board is so inclined.
I move we approve the 2013-2014 audit contract.
Motion's been made by Mr. Filippelli. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Hill. Is there any further discussion concerning the audit contract? Seeing no further discussion, all in favor raise your right hand. The contract is approved. Next item is the payroll and due dates calendar for 2014-2015. Ms. Davis.
Okay. This calendar will establish payroll dates, pay periods, and due dates for the 2014-15 school year. May I answer any questions? And it's very, very similar to the calendars we've had in the past.
Motion to approve the 2014-15 payroll and due date calendar as presented.
Motion made by Mr. Hill.
Second.
Second by Mr. Nobles. Is there any further discussion about the payroll and due dates calendar? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed? Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. Next item is Dr. Mazingo with the School System Improvement Task Force.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The task force, of course, has met again as a large group, but during the past month or so, the subcommittees have been meeting fairly regularly, some of them twice, all of them at least once, I think now most of them twice. And the way we have it set up, the subgroups go and do their work on their particular tasks. They come back and report to the large committee, and if they have any, as they have recommendations that they would like to come before you, those are also discussed by the entire group, and after a majority vote of the group, then I will bring those recommendations to you. We do have 2 that came out of the subcommittees and were approved to come to you from the larger task force. The first one is actually about technology, came out of the technology subcommittee, and Mr. Williams is here as one of the co-chairs for that. They came back once again this year with the recommendation that for technology in Lenoir County, for our students, for them to best perform on all of their academic pursuits, that we needed to look at doing a one-to-one initiative where every child would have a device, whether that was an iPad or an actual laptop. Now, we're not coming to you tonight asking you to approve a plan, or we haven't figured out all of the money yet. We're really coming and asking you to endorse this idea that's coming to us from the task force, but also from our family of educational professionals, particularly our administrators, in saying that we believe the children in Lenoir County need this type of technology to do their very best. We're also asking that you pretty much direct us to go back and work on a more detailed plan, which would include certainly what we could possibly do to finance this, how we might have to phase it in over a number of years, and to come back to you with some more concrete ideas later. But for right now, we'd like your endorsement on moving forward with creating a one-to-one plan, and ask that you so direct us to do that. You want to take the recommendations one at a time?
I think we should.
Okay.
They seem to be different.
Any questions on the first recommendation from the Technology Subcommittee?
I just got a question about moving forward on this one. Is there anything, and the committee probably knows this, but since I'm not on the committee, is there anything that should be done before we venture into this step? Is the committee looked at it, is this the first step that we should take?
Yeah, I think this comes to you after a lot of research, and Mr. Williams, you feel free to jump in here since he's been spearheading most of this, both on the administrator side and with school system people and with the School System Improvement Task Force. And as you know, a group of us went to California to investigate the current state of technology, particularly with the Apple Corporation, and what is possible. I think we all came back pretty convinced that this was definitely the right thing to do, to provide a device for all of our students. Certainly as they've looked at research here and in the task force, that conclusion has been reached there also. So and we've been doing this over a period now of really more than 2 years in terms of doing the research and investigating the possibilities and how the most effective technology program can be run currently. Mr. Williams, jump in.
I'm not really looking for, my question was, is make sure that this is the first thing that we should be doing, and because I'm really in line with the technology and all that. You know, I just want to make sure that we're doing things how we looked at. Should we be doing something else before we get to the technology portion of it, or is the technology, should it be the first step?
I think so, because I think the technology would fit into anything else we do. I think it's an essential tool, really, irregardless of the other things that come out and the other changes we might make. This is it's really like getting the basic tools in the hands of the kids.
That's what I want to hear then.
Yeah.
This is the basic. Okay.
Yeah.
So all you're looking for us to say is, okay, go ahead and bring us back some information and,
Right. Put
and
together
a plan.
and bring it back to you for your consideration, and basically you're endorsing the concept and set the idea of one-to-one technology.
I would like for us to also look at sustainability of this process. You know,
Absolutely.
A lot of systems have gone one-on-one and it just hadn't been maintained, and I don't know how we can do that, because as we all know, if you're you buy a PC, years later you got to buy another one. So sustainability would be very important.
Yeah, it's definitely not a one and done proposition. It's something that you have to plan for. You're absolutely right, and that will definitely be part of the plan. And also already been discussed, as a matter of fact, is how we might do that. Okay. Would entertain a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion to approve developing a specific plan to implement one-on-one technology in Lenoir County Public Schools.
Okay.
Motion's been made by Mr. Hill,
Second.
second by Mr. Stroud. Is there any further discussion of this motion? And I'll say that I think the one thing you kind of have to understand from being on the School Improvement Committee is that the plan to implement this kind of a program is going to be extremely complex. It's going to have a lot of different parts to it. I mean, there's going to be parts on how we actually roll out the equipment, how do we service the equipment, how do we maintain it. There's also sustainability issues. You just can't hand technology to a classroom and expect it to go on its own. There's also a huge professional development aspect to this. We have to have buy-in from our staff. We have to have buy-in from our administrators for this to work. And so I think what the committee is planning to do is come to us hopefully with a top-to-bottom kind of implementation plan on how we could do this. And at the same time, our budget committee meeting tomorrow needs to start looking at these issues and see whether or not we can finance these issues and where that money is going to come from and what's available and what the trade-offs will be. So yeah, I agree that this is definitely just a first step, but the people on the committees are going to invest a tremendous amount of time and effort putting these plans together, and I think they wanted to feel like the board supported it before they did that. And I certainly support it. I've been convinced that this type of program is the future of education. I mean, this is where it's going in the future. And if we don't do it today, we're going to be doing it at some point in the next couple of years.
Call for a vote.
Is there any further discussion? And we'll call it for a vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Next item.
All right, the second recommendation came out of the School Choice Subcommittee. Actually, one of the chairs is Ms. Diane Lynch. They took a long look at how to survey the entire community last year and worked on a survey for a while. They come back this year, have refined that, actually have a survey that you have a copy of that is down to about 7 questions, but it does ask for input on a number of the issues that have been discussed. We certainly are going to do our very best, if you approve this survey, to go to the community tonight to hit all aspects of the community. Ask Mr. Patrick Holmes, our new Public Information Officer, to do all that he can to get it out there. I know that the newspaper certainly will make it known that it's available. And we're going to run it for a period of time and try to advertise the fact that it's out there. And we actually really desperately want people to respond and to get as much of the feedback as we can from our parents, but also the community at large. Any comments or questions about the survey? Like I said, we have one of the co-chairs here with Ms. Lynch, who actually put this together. It was, I will say that it was worked on extensively at the larger meeting, and a lot of items were added and some changes were made, so it truly has had input from the larger group as well as the subcommittee that developed the basic survey.
What would be the basis for, I know you said this, the newspaper, but for getting this out to the community at large?
The survey is actually going to be placed on the website, and what the newspaper and the publicity will do will let people know to go, it will direct them to the website to be able to complete it online. We're also going to provide some paper opportunities at the library and public places where people can have an opportunity to complete the survey who don't have access to internet.
Okay. And that was my only concern when looking at it, was the fact the survey is only as good as if people are going to fill them out for us to get accurate feedback. But I did want to just say to the general public that when this is made available, I think it's crucial that they respond to the survey to let their voices be known. This is a good way to let their voice be known. Because a lot of times I hear it come back that, well, the community didn't have any input, and we have some stuff to say and we didn't get a chance to say it. So I want them to understand that, and as much as we can get it out there, as many ways as we can get it out there to them, that it's important that they do respond, so we will have their feedback and understand what they're thinking and how they feel about it.
Any other questions or comments?
Do we have a motion to approve the survey or the
So moved.
questionnaire? Motion made by Mr. Stroud. We have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Nobles. Is there any further discussion on the community feedback questionnaire? No further discussion. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed? The questionnaire is passed unanimously.
We'll get it out.
We will distribute that out in the community. And I want to thank Ms. Lynch and that committee, the School Choice Committee, which I serve on, for all the work they did to put together this survey.
You notice he waited till after he voted to tell you.
I didn't want to jeopardize the vote, yeah. The next item on the agenda is Mr. Abbott Hunsucker with the federal program funding application.
Good evening. Every year, the federal government wants me to ensure them that I have your permission to vote for, to apply for federal funding, which I think is sort of a no-brainer. The various programs brings in about $4.1 million, so I think we probably need to do it. So I'm seeking your permission
Why don't you tell us how
tonight to apply for these
Done this too
various
many
programs.
times, hasn't he?
I think you're probably
The
right.
good news is, rumor has it that we're going to get a slight increase, maybe 100,000 or so. So we're going in the right direction. Sequestration didn't kill us.
They actually finally dealt with sequestration in the budget, and we're getting a little bit of a break again, finally. I certainly would support Mr. Hunsucker's statement.
I move we authorize Mr. Hunsucker to apply for all the federal funds we can get,
Motion's been made by Mr. Filippelli,
and even some we can't get.
second by Mr. Hill. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. The application is approved unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Hunsucker.
Was that a no-brainer?
Next item is apparently 4 out-of-state school trips, Ms. Lynch.
Right, we do have 4. The first one is for Frank. The Honors Chorus is requesting permission to travel to Virginia for competition. South Lenore is requesting to go to Busch Gardens in April. South Lenore is also requesting that a team from their school go to Oklahoma to compete in the land judging competition. And then lastly, the Learning Academy is requesting to go to Myrtle Beach in late May to visit WonderWorks. We ask that you approve these trips.
We have a motion to approve the trips by Mr. Braxton,
Second.
second by Mr. Stroud. Any further discussion concerning the out-of-state school trips? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, the trips are approved. Next item is to go into closed session.
Is this the one you want me to, this time?
No, let's see.
Need to get it right
Is
this
this the right
time.
one?
Go ahead.
I move that the Lenore County Board of Education go into closed session under North Carolina General Statute 143-31811 to prevent disclosure of confidential personnel files, to consult with the board's attorney in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege and consider matters relating to initial employment of an individual employee.
Motion's been made to go into closed session,
Second.
second by Mr. Smith. All in favor, raise your right hand. We are now in closed session. All right, we are returned to open session. Do we have a motion to approve the personnel report with the addendum? A motion made by Mr. Stroud. Do we have a second?
Second.
We'll give this second to Mr. Hill. I'll give it to Mr. Hill this time. Mr. Hill gets the second. All in favor of approving the personnel report with the addendum, raise your right hand. The report is approved. And Dr. Mazingo have an announcement?
I'd like to recognize our 2 newest interim administrators. Tonight in the personnel report, we approved Mr. Brian Corey to step up as interim principal for Kinston High School for the remainder of the year to June 30th. And Ms. Pam Heath, who is a very experienced administrator, who's recently served as 2 interim principal positions for us, is taking his place in an interim AP position. So Kinston High School will be full-staffed after Easter. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Good to hear. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Noble, second by Mr. Filippelli. All in favor? We are now adjourned.